Hey guys, welcome to another video and thanks for clicking on this one. In this video, let's talk about something that I believe everybody should be doing. And this is something I know active investors often do, but I don't know if you do this. And I just thought, you know what? Let me talk about this and let me share it with you. If you're new here, welcome. If you're a returning subscriber, thanks for coming back. I appreciate the likes. It goes a long way. And of course, feel free to subscribe to the channel. Now, this is exactly what I do. On a weekly basis, I try to spend time on simple things like Yahoo Finance, and I'm going to share my screen with you now. What you see on here is just Yahoo Finance page, and I would do two things. So I'll come to, let me go to the top so that you can see here. So you see the 52-week gainers. I click on that. Now when I do that, it brings up, stocks that have made significant moves. And let me show you what I mean. If I could move this here a little bit. Window capture, let me move it here. All right, good, that's better. All right, what you would see to the side, all right, especially on the right side of the screen right here, you can see that the 52-week change in percentage is what you see. So for example, you have this one that is up 6,200%. Okay, now I'm looking at this not because I want to buy them, but specifically to understand what triggered the moves. Okay, now I try not to do penny stocks. So like a stock like this that is, a market cap of 4.1 billion, that's something worth interesting, and I would definitely want to look into this. I haven't looked into this one specifically. This is just me sharing exactly what I do, but I haven't done this as of this moment. So a stock like this, what I would do is I'll pull it up so that I can understand the company, so that I can understand why, when it's really made a move, is it something that is recent? Is it something that is, maybe there's a catalyst to this move? I would try to find that information. Another important one, for example, SanDisk. This is one I've done recently, and I've actually seen it. I understand why it's moved. It's due to the semiconductor trades that has been going on for the past couple of, I guess, months now, right? Due to scarcity of those materials. So memory has increased, the value of memory has increased, and prices have gone up. And of course, SanDisk makes all these chips and stuff. So they are making a lot of money, and that's why they've gone up significantly. But the point here is I would try to scan through some of this to see companies that pique my interest, and then I would start to monitor them. So what I would then do with this information, so for example, I've pulled up AXTI. I don't even know what that company is, to be honest. I don't know anything about the company, but here's something I would then do. So going by, let's do 6 months. Let's see what's happened in 6 months. So we've seen it's gone up about 1,300% in 6 months. Year to date, it's only gone up 360. 1 year, it's up 5,600%. So there was a time this stock was literally trading at $4. All right, and this was as of last year, October. This thing was at $5, and between then and now, it's up significantly. Now, there are two things you can do with this information, which I don't try to bet against stocks. And the reason is because you just never know. You just don't know if there's genuine reasons for this. Sometimes it's all just bad, when you call it fear of missing out, FOMO, right? People piling into the stocks and then pushing the price up. But if you're very convinced and if you have a good understanding of what you're doing, right, and you think this move has been too drastic within a short period of time, that's when people try to bet against the stock. So they buy like a put, for example, and then pick a long-term duration, right? So maybe 2 years from now, because they believe that this trade or this move that this has made in the past, literally less than 6 months, is not sustainable. So they will buy that put so that when it comes down, when the price starts to fall, the put's value increases and they make money. That is something that I do regularly, and honestly, I try to not do that because you just never know how long these things will drag on, and you don't want to be stuck with a losing trade for a very long time. So I don't try to do that. But I would try to watch this type of stocks or companies just because if genuinely these companies are doing well, it's worth noting why, and maybe the current political environment favors their business. Maybe something is going well for them, and of course I would then try to find an entry. An entry would then be maybe when it drops a little bit, then I try to get it, right? Maybe at a price that I feel like, okay, I feel comfortable buying it and I don't feel like I'm taking too much risk, then I buy it at a time. On the other hand, this is the one I just showed you is when it's gone up. Now let me show you when it's gone down, right? Let's look at the 52-week losers, okay? These ones are places. This is how I found Intel. This was how I found like Ford. Which other ones have I put some money into again? Intel has actually really done well, okay? But again, I didn't put enough money. That's always the case. When you find the stocks, you're like, okay, you know what? I still believe in the company. I still believe in what they're doing. Let me buy them. But of course, you're always still trying to manage your risk, right? You don't want to put all your money into something that is losing because of your conviction, because you're never sure. Things might still not really work out. But if you have a long-term plan and you buy it and you have an amount that that won't hurt your portfolio, then why not? And that's what I've done, for like Intel, which has done really well. But if you look at this, for example, this is 52-week losers now, all right? So Figma is one. Figma recently IPO'd, and because of Claude, again, I know this because I just follow some of these companies. Because of Claude AI and Claude Design specifically, this stock has lost a lot of money. Now, is this something that I want to put money into? Honestly, I'm not sure, because I've also used Claude Design and I know how good it is. And to be honest, I've never used Figma's product, but I worry that with AI and Claude Design, it might be hard to recover all these losses that they've had, a 3% loss from the highs, okay? But what I would do is, look at some of these stocks and look for companies that maybe I might be familiar with, that they've maybe hit a rough spot. For example, HubSpot, right? I would want to understand more about HubSpot because it's a very, it's the market cap on this is what? Is about 11 billion. So it's a big company, right? So what's going on? That's something I would like to research. Now, if I understand the business and understand that, okay, maybe this is just a temporary thing, then I may want to put in a little bit of money and start watching it. Okay. And of course, this has 500 and something companies on it. So of course, I'm not going to go over everything, but, just look at the top ones and see what piques my interest and, choose to watch it. When I see a good price that I want to get into it, then I get in. This is something that I do, and I believe that you should do the same thing, because this is how you can sometimes find undervalued stocks because of just an economic factor. Maybe it's a geopolitical factor. Maybe it's just bad news that came out about a company, and boom, that's your opportunity to get in, right? But that's how I find them. Just wanted to share this with you. If you found value in this one, don't forget to drop a like on it. I'll see you in a future one.